Secretary Moya, you've already presented an outline yesterday that was extremely enlightening and informative. But with this emphasis of bringing together climate, biodiversity, and development priorities, and I think Ecuador is one of the countries that can really boast about its natural endowment. How do the combined effects of climate, biodiversity, and development enable Ecuador to not only pursue its development plans, but also protect vulnerable populations, and how, as the National Planning Secretariat, are able to harness an integrated financing framework to jointly address the country's specific challenges across these areas in a coherent and holistic approach?
Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for the opportunity to participate again. I would like to start with the National Development Plan. Ecuador is fully committed with the 2030 agenda, and I want to emphasize that the crucial role that the planning has on this. Last year, we approved the National Development Plan for a year and a half because that's the framework that we have. Each time that we have a new government, we need to approve a new National Development Plan. This plan has 107 goals and 72 policies, and it's aligned in a 94.4% to the 2030 agenda. And this is a work that we were able to do through the work that we do with the agencies of the UN. And with this NDP, we created a robust framework for the ministries, and they participated with this work. And as you can see there is a specific axis that is called infrastructure, energy, and environment strategic priorities. And this helps us to see where our politics are. And then we were able to participate on the creation of the NDC, and the NDC sets ambitious goals for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and enhancing resilience, with a strong emphasis on the conservation and sustainable management over forests and other ecosystems. There are 5 prioritized sectors in the National Climate Change Strategy, and 5 in mitigation and 6 in adaptation, as you can see. And you can see there all the NDCs that are part of our NDC. And then how we were able to do this. The National Planning Secretariat leads these efforts and fosters collaboration across the sectors to align our national strategies, including our NDCs, with the SDGs. So what we did is that from the National Secretary of Planning, we called all the ministries that were involved, not their teams, the ministries. We needed the authorities to get involved, to understand the problems that they have because of climate change and because of a lack of climate adaptation. So we needed there the Ministry of Energy, we needed the Ministry of Economy and Finance, we needed there the Ministry of Production, of Agriculture, so they can understand how this is impacting their own work. So as you can see, we have there image of the synergies that you can find when you analyze the Objective 13 climate change. And we use a UNDP tool that is with machine learning that helps you to find the synergies that you have on your planning instruments so that you can better explain to the other authorities their role. So we use this tool, and then we use a workshop with the high authorities so they can map these synergies too. And then we also launch another workshop with the planning teams on each ministry so that they can also understand their role on the NDC. So we did this plan when we were working in another workshop with UNDESA, and we participated in Korea with the Ministry of Environment. So we made this plan, and we've been able to involve first the actors of the government. So with that in mind, we were able to call other actors from the private sector, from the local government, so they can come together and make this NDC more, more integral. And then we've been able also to work on this developing framework with the INFF approach to align financial flows with national priorities, including climate change mitigation and adaptation. This INFF process focuses on several key areas. The first one is strengthening the alignment of public finances. We are working to integrate climate and biodiversity considerations into our national budget process, using tools such as a green expenditures classifier and investment labeling. We've also, as a second area, we are trying to mobilize private sector investments and improving access to international climate finance. We are exploring and implementing innovative financing mechanisms to attract private investments and resources, such as social bonds and debt swaps transactions that I talked about yesterday. This has allowed us to canalize debt service to conservation projects, as well as working to create an enabling environment for the private sector engaging. Additionally, we are actively working with international partners to secure financial support from international organizations for climate and biodiversity actions, including the Green Climate Fund and the Global Environment Facility. Third, we are improving institutional governance to enhance access to thematic finance, because this is kind of new for our country. And Ecuador has developed several instances of interinstitutional coordination that allows us to integrate the national financing framework. Different committees and boards have been established to coordinate policies, institutional capacities, and financing and investment instruments to achieve the National Climate Agenda and the SDGs. For example, we have the Financing and Thematic Monitoring Institutional Committee, the Sustainable Finance and the Technical Committee for the Coordination of Planning and Public Finance. Some of them involve also the private sector, so I think it's very important in these kind of committees to integrate these other actors that help us to achieve our goals. And fourth, we've developed a monitoring and evaluation framework. We are designing a robust system to track the progress towards our financial goals, but it's not only from the, if you are executing your budget, but it's also the things and the goals that you are achieving in terms of social improvement and for green investments. For example, the measurable indicators align with the Koning-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework that our national biodiversity strategy is in progress of updating. Also this year, the National Planning Secretariat conducted the country's first evaluation with an SDG approach. This was done in the social sector. We see the INFF as a major opportunity to transform our development model and build a more sustainable and resilient future. By integrating climate, nature, and development finance, we can unlock new resources of funding, enhance the efficiency of resource allocation, and create a more coherent way to achieve our national priorities. But for this, as a government, we need to be organized. We need to institutionalize the processes so that we can attract these investors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Moya, for really showing us empirically on the ground how countries are bringing together both natural and financial resources to bear on sustainable development. And